Hello there, Ray here. I'm joined by Extra, and today guys we got an amazing iron farm. This thing is insanely fast, and you can see how simple it is as well. This thing produces over 14,000 iron ingots per hour. This skeletal looking iron farm is deceivingly fast, being 44 times faster than a single cell iron farm. As you can see, there's really not that much to it. We just got some spawning platforms, a killing chamber, but this thing is able to produce over 4 double chests of iron ingots per hour. So this much iron ingots just in 1 hour of AFKing, making this iron farm the best for high efficiency as well as easy to build. 99% of questions that people ask about different farms that we design can easily be answered by watching the entire video as well as checking in the description. So to start up the iron farm, all you have to do is hop into this minecart here. I'll just spectate Extra, and what the machine will do is it'll automatically transport you between the main end island here near where you do your dragon summoning and the outer end islands. And every time you go through the portal, you're going to reset it so the villagers will attempt to spawn in another iron golem. This is a really cool trick I showed you guys way back when the villager mechanic changed in 1.14. I showed it's possible to relog and actually cause iron golems to respawn. We're using the exact same trick here, except we are unloading this area by going into a portal. So we're using here the entrance gateway portal as well as the exit gateway portal. And you can't really see what's happening on the exit side. There's just a rail that's taking us back into the portal once again. Every time we leave this area, we stay away from it for a short period of time, giving the villagers enough time to sleep as well as work in their workstations without being scared by the pillager that we have in the center. We also have it so that all the villages are being synchronized by going to bed and then waking up at the same time. And that way they're able to summon in all their iron golems at the same time. This is really important because if one iron golem would be spawned in, villages up to 16 blocks away could actually notice that there's an iron golem there and won't summon in their own. So by synchronizing all the villages to summon in the iron golems all at once, we can get as much as 6 iron golems to spawn in at the same time in an area where maybe only 1 or 2 would. You can see the iron golems are spawning onto the slime blocks here. They're being detected by some tripwire, which is using a really cool trick that one of the ProtoTech members, Mouse, actually discovered, which is having slime be pulled through an entity can accelerate it downwards or upwards. Very useful for fast farms. And we're using this to actually pull the iron golems from the spawning space downwards and accelerate them into the water below. The water is then sweeping them towards us and downwards into a lava blade, which is burning them up for the iron ingots. It's really important to pull them down very quickly. That way, the next time we come over here and load this area, the villagers are going to check for the iron golems around them. And as long as the iron golems are far enough down, they won't notice that they're there and they'll summon in more iron golems. Now this setup we got here contains 6 villages. Each village consists of 3 villagers, and each village has 3 beds as well as 3 workstations. And every single villager here is being able to be scared by the pillager, which is in the center. He's also in a boat just in case he gets bumped. Now this size of farm will produce 14,000 iron ingots per hour, but you can actually expand this farm as much as you want. You can take like this section here and put it beside it and literally fill up all the area around the entire player. And each of these farms would produce the same amount of iron ingots. The thing to keep in mind is you just need to make sure each village is 10 blocks apart from each other and that the villages can notice iron golems up to 16 blocks away from them. So if you like stack these on top of each other, you want to make sure you get that distance. Always keep the iron golem 16 blocks away from the villagers. You can see the farm is working very fast. It is actually 5 seconds in between every time the villages try to summon in an iron golem. We use that time to transport the player out of the dimension, let it completely unload, then transport the player back in again. This allows them to kind of reset and be able to summon in more iron golems. Every time the chunks are loaded, it's not always a 100% chance of them producing an iron golem. On average, these 6 villages will produce about 4.8 iron golems per spawning time. Even though we're here in the end dimension, they still use the global clock, so they're still able to sleep at night and wake up when they get scared, as well as work during those work hours. This is important because in order for iron golems to spawn in, the villagers need to be able to have slept recently as well as worked on their workstation. And this farm allows them to do all that easily. You guys got a good look at it while it was running. Let's get a close-up look at it while it's not running. You can see we got the villagers here. They're all stacked on top of each other when they come out of the bed. They're all standing on the workstations. We got 3 workstations, one here, and one here. 3 beds are in that same kind of formation that I used in my iron farms of the past. And you can see we got these guys spaced out, like the center from this village to the center of this village is 10 blocks. From here to here is 10 blocks, always 10 blocks apart from each other. And in the very, very center, we have the pillager. Now this is a pillager that has no weapon whatsoever. And if you guys are curious how you can get that, I'll link the video down below. Essentially you just allow the pillager to use up all his durability uses of his crossbow, and then it breaks and he's left with no weapon and doesn't attack anything. But he is able to scare a larger area than like a zombie. So that's why we have a pillager here rather than a zombie. You could choose to use zombies, but you just have to have one zombie in between each of these. One zombie there, as well as here, as well as here. So you guys can choose if you want to do either a zombie or use one pillager who doesn't have any crossbow. So the pillager here is able to scare up to 15 blocks away, which makes him ideal for doing a big area like this with a lot of villages, where a zombie only scares 8 blocks away, so you need to have him somewhat close. We also put him in a boat just so he doesn't accidentally get bumped off. And we want to make sure that no iron golems can spawn anywhere around the farm other than directly inside of our spawning platforms, which are these slime blocks here. To make sure this says all bottom slabs, we also got like a button here on this block, and the villagers here have redstone dust on their workstations, so nothing can spawn here whatsoever. That's a good thing to keep in mind. Just make sure there's nothing for iron golems to spawn in at. They won't spawn into like redstone circuitry, so we don't have to worry about that, but on top of like pistons or any block we need to put slabs. This will force all the spawns inside of the spawning platform here, which has just long pieces of slime blocks. You do need to use slime blocks, not honey blocks, because honey blocks don't allow mobs to spawn on top of it. In between each of these is some tripwire. So the tripwire right here. And when an iron golem would spawn in, I got one right here. You can see how he will activate the tripwire, and this will lift up the floor, squishing him inside of the slime. And then when it moves back down, it's going to launch him downwards towards the water. Now we need to make sure to keep that distance of 16 blocks between the villagers and the iron golems. So there's a pretty good distance here, but down here they no longer affect the farm, and that way they take much time as they want to actually be burned up by the lava over here. The water streams are very simple. Here in the end dimension we can use water, and it just moves iron golems. Since they are larger than one block, we can easily get them over top of these type of gaps and move them over here into this lava blade. We just got some lava spread out across some cobble walls, and it's held in by these trapdoors which do not burn, but they can get fire on top of them, so we just put slabs here, even though they will never burn up. And you can kind of space the lava out like we did here just to conserve it, because they are so big they will touch the lava blade no matter where they're at. Once the iron golem dies, you can see all the items get pushed here to the center and go over here. We just have an item sorter that picks up all the items. We currently didn't hook up actual item sorters, but if you want to, you can. And here you can see the loot just gets put into the chest. You will get roses as well as iron. On average, you'll get 4 iron ingots per iron golem killed. And with a setup just like this, you can get over 14,000 iron ingots. If you'd like to get more, like I said, you can always stack this along the side, all around here as much as you want. There's plenty of room to make more of these. So some tips on how to build this up. I would recommend bringing over 2 villagers from the overworld over here to the end dimension. Like your obsidian platform is just over there. You don't have too far to travel with them. Bring them over here, build up a little breeder. If you don't know what type of breeder to build up, we'll link one down below. I showed a really nice breeder setup, and Impulse used it and made a very simple crop farm and breeder all in one, which I'll link below. That way you can get all your villagers just with 2 villagers at the start. The villager can also be transported over here, very similar to like the villagers inside of a boat. And he is completely peaceful, so like even if I go into survival mode and hop in with him, he's not gonna like attack me or anything, so it's not too difficult to transport him. And you want to make sure to build the farm up just like we have it here. Probably the hardest thing to get to build this farm is just getting enough slime to actually have enough spawning spaces. You can start with less slime, just some more spawning spaces, the less likely it is to fail. The redstone isn't too complicated. There's just some devices which will activate when the iron golems are inside of it. If iron golem would happen to get stuck, there is kind of like a clock that will constantly pulse it. All the signals of when an iron golem is detected are sent over here into this little device, which just puts it over into this fence gate here. So every time we get iron golem spawn, it's going to activate this fence gate, allowing the player to move from over here at the entrance gateway portal over to the exit gateway portal, which is on this side. So this is the outer end islands. This is a little device on this side. There's really not that much to this either. We need to make sure to use trapdoors because the player will be teleported to stuff like slabs or other blocks, but not to trapdoors. And we want the player to be teleported right here. Same thing for the other side. If we hop through, we want to make sure the player is teleported to this block and not to anything else around here. So keep everything lower No putting any blocks around here. And it is directional, which way the game will actually try to place in the player. So keep that in mind. Make sure you have it so where the player is teleporting ends up here. The game is trying to put the player in the northwest corner. So wherever block is the highest in the northwest corner, it will be placed there. And the way you make this incline rail here is you just start out by having it like this, and you place a rail here, which will make an incline, and then you just remove it and place a trapdoor here. That way, as soon as the minecart lands there, it'll just automatically roll over into this side. And then once on the other side, the gate will hold you until you need to be sent back over to the other side again. We also went ahead and put some trapdoors on top of this because the iron golem will spawn on top of this solid top block. Now, if you don't want Enderman to be inside your farm, you can just put in some light sources like we did here, put some end rods in. Endermen really don't affect it because they just kind of stand here, and only stuff that's really wide like iron golems will actually be wide enough to touch the tripwires. But with some light sources you can prevent them from spawning in there, but you won't be able to prevent them from actually teleporting in here unless you also remove the spawning spaces nearby. But overall, it really shouldn't affect the farm. Now on this spawning floor, you can see that there's a repeater here that kind of creates that clock. On the opposite side, there is also a repeater, but it has a different delay. That way, these two things aren't pulsing at the same time, so they're alternating. In case the iron golem would kind of end up in between, like if one iron golem spawned here, one would be spawned beside it, they could try to push each other and they might get stuck in this infinite loop if they're between the two of these. And by having alternating extra allows them to be able to unstick themselves. The majority of this farm was designed by Extrarita. We did do some testing during our snapshot testing stream, so if you guys would like to join us for those, it's every Wednesday and Friday, where we open up a new snapshot world where the viewers can hop on and join us as we design cool stuff like this. Our good friend Pagandi Zonda also designed a really fast iron farm, which potentially could produce millions of iron per hour. And he uses the same unloading system, so make sure you check out his video as well down below. So for the player to use this portal without taking any damage over time, went ahead and actually removed 3 pieces of bedrock. And we'll show you guys how to do that. We use that simple bedrock breaking method that we showed in a previous video. We're just using the very simple method, which is just one TNT with a lot of blocks to hopefully create updates. It's not 100% success, but with this method, pretty easy to set up. So to remove this top bedrock here, we just want to have a piston, which is facing the opposite direction of the bedrock. And put a little platform in so where you can work off of. You just want to have this piston extended. We want it to be butted. So I'll show you guys how to do that. Place in a block here with a power source here. Power it, and then you'll just want to place some blocks that are easy to blow up, like torches around the edges. Also something easy to blow up on top, like carpet here. Then we want to have our TNT right here, and the player will stand back here and place in the piston up against this little corner of block right here. So light the TNT and then just aim right here and spam very quickly. You can see that removes the bedrock. And make sure to aim properly, plus click extremely fast. If you need like a macro to help you do that, then you can do that as well. Of course, on a server where it's like really laggy, you might have difficulty doing it. And it's always not 100%, so you might give it a couple tries. But yeah, you just use this to break the bedrock. Of course, there's going to be a portal block right here, and we will leave that there. But yeah, we just repeat the process and have a block break this bedrock. We figured out a good angle for this top one. You want the piston facing this direction. You want to butt it with this lever up here. And then you're going to place the piston up against this block over here from this direction. So if I click here with no piston, you can see it's going to face backwards. You want to make sure to face the piston into the block that you're trying to break. So it's going to start out this way. We'll go ahead and bud that. You want to put the same like torches and blocks around it to create as many updates as possible. The more updates, the more likely it is to actually work. And if this block blows up here, we won't be able to click up against it, and therefore it won't work. So I'm going to open this up so I can actually aim in there and click, remove that power, and we'll put down some blocks here just so we don't get damaged by the TNT. Start the TNT up, we'll spam up against this block here really fast. So if it doesn't work, you just got to give it another try. We'll try it again with the lever. Bam, piston up against the side here. And I think I heard it work. Yep, it worked. So yeah, if it don't work the first time, just keep at it. 2 of the 3 bedrock, and you can just do the same for the bedrock down here. You want to replace that one, because that is where the player will be teleported to. this block won't be teleported to Bedrock. And if we go over to the other side, Extra says that Bedrock breaking usually works on paper or spigot. Cool. So on this side, you can also see that we want to break these two pieces, this piece as well as this piece. You don't need to break this one down here. A little bit of Bedrock breaking, but like I showed, not too difficult to pull off while you are in survival. If you guys are looking for just a very simple iron farm, I did produce a 1-cell iron farm that is extremely simple to build up. Matter of minutes, you can have a successfully going iron farm. So if you're just looking for something simple, definitely check out that video down below. Now when you do try to start up the iron farm, you need to make sure to let the guys sleep as well as work on the workstation, which they can't do when they're always afraid. So one easy way to easily start it is just keep hopping in between these dimensions, and this will give them to go into their beds and wake up again. Once all of them have done that, then they'll start producing iron. So if it's not producing iron, make sure to do that. And as always, if you still have questions about it, check out the world download. We will provide it down in the description. It will be working, so if you're having troubles with your very own iron farms, hop into that world, look at it, notice how that world works, notice any differences from that world to your world. And remember guys to leave a like on the video as well as share with other Minecrafters so they can learn about this amazing iron farm that they can use in their vanilla survival worlds. And if you guys like to see more cool farms like this that you can easily design up as well as complex ones, I have an entire playlist of both of those down in the description. You guys go binge watch those and learn tons of cool things about survival and farming up items as well as mobs. As always, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.